now to Coach Swinney.
All right, appreciate it, Ross. First of all, just really proud of our team and our staff. I mean, this has been an incredible year. This is a football team, coming off of a national championship last year and obviously a lot of good players that moved on, and to see what this team has accomplished, the leadership, just their daily commitment, it's been special. And, just super proud of them to be where we are and heading back to Charlotte for the ACC championship game. And, congratulations to Virginia and Bronco and what they've done. What a remarkable job he's done with that program, and something that I definitely saw coming a couple years ago. You can just, as a coach, there's just certain things that you see and you have instincts on, and just not surprised at all that we're playing Virginia. And I think that they're just going to continue to build a great program up there. So really excited about that. And then also want to congratulate all ACC players from across the league, but then also certainly, especially our guys. I think that just came out this morning, Ross told me, and we had a lot of guys on there, and so really happy for those guys. Not real sure how Skowski didn't make it. He'd have been one of my top votes for sure, but I don't even think he made honorable mention. But if I'm correct, I don't think Isaiah Simmons made honorable mention last year. And he's probably up for the Defensive Player of the Year overall. So didn't even make honorable mention last year. So that just goes to show you how smart. And he was pretty good last year too. So that didn't make honorable mention in the league. And but it just kind of how it goes. But I give a personal shout out to Skowski because I think he is a war daddy and has had as good a year as any linebacker we've had. So. And other guys as well. But looking at Virginia, this is offensively a very experienced group. And the one thing I would say about Virginia, first of all, is, as a coach, when I watch a team, there's just certain you're looking at their scheme, you're looking at their personnel, you're looking at those things. But for me, I want to know who they are, and I can see who they are. After I get through all the tape, I always have a very good feel for who they are, and also who they, as a program, who they are, as a unit, whether it be a receiver group, a running back group, or whatever. But let me tell you, this is a football team that I have such a great appreciation for who they are, because you can see their culture, you can see their heart, you can see their will to win. You can see their passion. You can see their togetherness. You can see their belief on tape. It just kind of oozes out when you watch them play. And and that's a credit to Bronco and his staff. They've done an awesome job, and because those are the hardest things to have, and that's why they are where they are. And when you get those things right, then you got a chance for bigger and better things as you go, and they've got that right. This is a team that has, again, a great will to win and a great belief in each other, and just a lot of passion. So, really excited about competing against a team like that. And then offensively, again, very experienced, very efficient in what they do. I think first down is probably the most critical down against these guys. They're one of the best teams in the country in third down. So they stay on the field a lot, and a lot of that just goes to speak to their efficiency in what they do offensively. They got a really good receiver group, make a lot of competitive plays, very experienced group of receivers. The tight end's a good player. He's a guy you can't sleep on. A lot of option principles throughout everything that they do. But at the end of the day, I mean, their quarterback is he's a wow guy. He's a guy that, you just the crazier things get, the better he gets. When things break down and it looks like a terrible play is about to happen, that's when he's at his best. He is just a very, very good football player, very explosive. He's big, 6'3" guy, and he can run as good as any running back you're going to see. So has put up unbelievable numbers running the ball and throwing the ball. And everything. I think he had 479 yards of the 492 yards of offense versus Virginia Tech. So everything's going to go through him. They're really a pass-first offense. They really want to pass the ball to run it. They built that way with all their draw sets and a lot of draw set RPO stuff and just some design quarterback run play, but also a lot of quarterback run that comes off of just the draw game. All right, and a little different than some of the zone read RPO. It's a lot of draw sets and then trying to throw the ball or run it. So it's a very good scheme for their personnel, and certainly with him. He's a great player. He's a guy we got to account for at all times because he'll go 50, he'll go 60. And so, our D-line's going to have to play with great discipline, and really keep him corralled in the pocket and do a great job with our eyes and our rush lanes and getting off of blocks and those type of things because, again, he's just a really good player. So I'm very impressed with their scheme. They're well coached. They challenge you. From their formations, their alignments, their quads, their motions, all those things that you've got to really be able to have a good plan for. So they manufacture a lot of things, within their offense, and again, that just speaks to the type of coaching that they have. And then flip side of it, and again, another reason why they're a championship team is their defense. Really good. They're sixth in the country in sacks. I think they got 43 sacks. We got 35. So they get after the quarterback. They do a great job schematically, challenging you. So the big challenge for us, against this type of front and the way they use their personnel is communication and just making sure that we're targeted properly and that we're all on the same page and running back, quarterback, tight end, everybody locked in. But they do a good job with getting after the quarterback. They've only had 2 teams out of 12 have over 400 yards of offense on them. So this is an excellent defense. They've had 1 team rush for 200 yards. That was Louisville. And they've had 6 of their 12 opponents they've held to under 100 yards rushing. So that's kind of how they're built to try to stop the run, to always get that extra hat in there. So we've got to do a great job, again, of just targeting them and good, clean execution in all phases. They're number 24 in the country in third down defense, and they're top 20 in third down offense. So this speaks to their efficiency, all right, because they're keeping the ball and they're getting off the field at a very high rate. And so that when you look at them statistically, that's what's generating some of those numbers that you see. Again, only 2 teams have had over 400 yards on them in 12 ball games. So very efficient football team, a team that doesn't beat itself and obviously is incredibly well coached. So excited about it. Looking forward to going up to Charlotte on Friday. Hopefully we'll have a great crowd up there. It's going to be beautiful weather. And I don't think it's supposed to rain. Last year I think it rained the whole entire game. So I think it's going to be a beautiful night and a great matchup with Clemson and Virginia. Any questions?
Looking at Perkins' coach, his experience, you talked about this, his arms and his legs. Is he not only the best quarterback you faced this year, but probably the most dangerous you faced?
Well, I think the best quarterback we face is in practice every day. To be honest with you, because practice is competitive for us. So we go out and try to win every day at practice. But as far as not on our team, he's as good as anybody we've played in what he does. Everybody has different strengths. If you're just gonna, depends on what you're asking. I think as far as dynamic, he's the most dynamic guy we've played, and dangerous. Because he can throw the football and he can, run like a running back. So he's just incredibly dynamic. But we've seen some good players. I think the kid from North Carolina is a great quarterback. I think he's a really good football player that's going to get better and better. But this kid here is is a grown man. I mean, he's a winner. I just love his heart. You know, if you could cut this guy open, man, he's got a giant heart. He's a winner. He just loves to compete. You can tell that there's just this huge belief that he has in himself, but also everybody else has it in him. And, you know, as a competitor, you have a great appreciation for that. I mean, he's a guy that you're going to have to beat. And you're gonna have to play 60 minutes against him because that's what he's going to do, and you have to match that.
Coach, 7 different Coastal champions in 7 years. You juxtapose that with your side getting there 5 years in a row. To just kind of illustrate the consistency that you've been able to maintain, especially in this day and age where parity seems to be everywhere.
It's hard. It's hard. That's the hardest thing to do is to win again, to win consistently. You know, I think it's just really hard to sustain over a long period of time. And so for us to have 9, 10-win seasons and to get back now for a 5th time, I mean, that's our greatest accomplishment is the consistency, not just on the field but off the field. 8 of our 10 years we've been top 10 academically, 8 out of the last 9. So that type of consistency as a program is the greatest accomplishment that we've had.
With number 2 receiver Reed,
yep.
How I guess adept are they at moving him around?
Yeah, he's a good player. He'll be in the slot. And he'll line up everywhere, and he's also the best returner in the country. I forgot that. He leads the nation in return. So a great player. And their receivers as a group, they make a lot of competitive plays. I mean, they fight for the ball for this, and you can just tell again they're just all on the same page. The quarterback believes in them. They believe in him. And, you know, there's a lot of plays. I mean, I think 2's got 70 catches. So just a very productive player and definitely a guy that you know, they're going to position to have a chance to get the best matchup.
Coach, I was saying the difficulty or the versatility of their outside linebackers is difficult to account for.
Yep.
What they do.
Yeah, 11's like 6'7", 14's like 6'5". I mean, they're just 2 big, long defenders, and you know they're oaky front where they got a lot of overhang. Always kind of got overhangs, what we call overhangs, guys outside, and you know they've had some injuries, so they've had to last game or so they've had to use their personnel a little differently, and again it's just a credit to them in finding a way to maximize their roster. They didn't play a lot of guys. They only played like 13 guys versus Virginia Tech. So I think they don't have a ton of depth. Again, some of that is just some of the injuries that they've had. But 14 and 11 they're good players. And again, just long guys that can be a problem in the pass game and also do what they need to do to help support the run.
Yeah, but it sounds like from talking this week that you see a lot of what you've done here with what Bronco's trying to accomplish up there. Have you gotten to know him a little bit over the past few years?
Yeah. He's a great coach, but he's about the right things. He's what's great about the profession. I love being around people like him that truly are ambassadors for the game and love their players and are about building something the right way, and that's exactly what he's doing there, no doubt about it. And you know he's tough. You know he's not afraid to fail. And I think a lot of people when he came here and he took that job, everybody's like, "What is he doing?" You know, a great situation he was in, and you know, first meeting I was in, I was like, that guy gets it. That guy will be successful. I don't know when or what their situation there is or how patient they'll be, because, I mean, they'll fire you after 2 years now, not even 2 years. You know, take over dumpster fire and they fire you in 2 years. But they've done a great job because, you know, is this his 4th year? You know, I don't think they did very good the first year or two. And last year they took a step forward, and man, now here they are in year 4, and they're in the ACC championship game. For me, first time I met him and just being around him the last couple of years, very easy to see that he's going to be successful. He's made of the right stuff.
with Perkins? Do you try to keep him in the pocket and make him one-dimensional, or how do you try to defend him?
Yeah, well, you better have eyes on him. I mean, you look at Virginia Tech, and they got burned a couple times. Played some really cover zero type of man coverage, and everybody's backs are turned and running, and here he goes. And so you've got to do a great job with your rush lane discipline up front, but you got to have somebody. You got to mix up you can't just play man coverage. You got to have some zone principles, and you got to have eyes. You got to have eyes on him at all times. And again, you can't. The guys up front have to know who they're playing against. There's a style of play that you have to play with technique-wise when you're playing a guy like this. So yeah, we got to try to keep him in the pocket, and I'm sure they're going to try to do things to get him outside the pocket. We're disruptive up front. They know that. So I wouldn't be surprised if they move him, and whether it be guard pulls or whatever, to try to create a new launch point and buy some time to get some plays down the field and things like that. So we've just got to do a good job of definitely keeping him in the pocket as best we can. But when we do, because he'll hurt you vertically as well. So it's the rush lanes, and then it's the discipline. If we do have zone droppers, being able to rally, and if he breaks free, and keep him contained.
When you do play zone, or when teams have played zone, how good are they at quick passing games?
Great. That's what they do. The ball comes out quick. And again, most of there are a lot of RPO stuff and zone read stuff and all that, but they do a lot of draw RPO too. And we've done some of that in the past. So it's if it's not there, if the quick game is not there, he runs it. He gets everybody coming up the field with pass sets, and then he just finds a lane, or he has a lead draw type of deal. And I think he does a great job of recognition. He's a very smart player. Does a great job with his cadence and things, and manipulating movement on the defense to try to get tips on the pressure, tips on the coverage, and he's just a very smart player. So he's pre-snap a guy that we're going to have to do a great job with, because if you don't do a good job with your disguises and things like that and leverages, he knows what to do with the ball. He knows where your weakness is. And there's a weakness in every call.
Dabo, not besides Clemson, what did you see this year in the ACC that makes you think the conference was on the upswing this year and that will be better next year?
Well, I saw a guy like Sam Howell. I saw Mac Brown come in and take North Carolina to a bowl. We got 10 bowl teams, and I think that's 42 bowl teams in 4 years. So, to me, it's just more of the same, just consistency. Some years you might have a little more top-heavy teams than maybe other years, and we certainly have had that. We've had those years where, it's been us and Florida State and a couple other teams that are pretty doggone good, and then we've had some years like this year where you just kind of have a lot of people kind of clumped in the middle, if you will. But it's a very deep league, and 10 teams make bowls. There's a lot of teams that can win, and they've had winning seasons. So I think that kind of speaks for itself. Again, our league never gets the credit. Our league never gets. It doesn't matter what we do. It's been that way forever. Our league doesn't get a lot of recognition for what's happened, but we've been very successful as a league. 3 out of the last 6 national championships. And, so I know, and all these other things are perception oriented, who's ranked what and this and that. Who knows? You don't play everybody. It's a lot of hypotheticals, but I just know what I know, and I know what reality is, not what people tell me. I know what reality is, and this is a very good league. I've been in it a long time. I don't think this year's as good as maybe a couple years ago, as far as just the strength of some of these teams. Obviously, they've had transition at Florida State, and a few coaching changes and things like that. But listen, it was just a couple years ago. Lamar Jackson was over there playing at Louisville. You look at all the quarterbacks that play in the NFL right now. The majority of them are from the ACC. So I think the quarterback play of some of these guys. I think Satterfield going to Louisville, he's already done a great job in his first year, and they were a mess last year. And in 1 year, he's turned them around. I think what you see Bronco doing, Florida State, it's just a matter of time before they're Florida State again. They got great talent down there, always will, always have. This is a very good league. I think what you see Jeff doing down there at Georgia Tech, I think is obviously they're completely transitioning a whole program down there from a schematic standpoint, and it takes a little bit of time, but I think they've, competed. But they're one of those teams that were a little behind this year. And I think just, again, the depth of the league, 42 bowl teams in 4 years, a lot of consistency. And then you look at what's happened, postseason. Our teams have done a great job in the postseason. And then so from a league standpoint, it's been fine. But again, I don't walk around waving a flag like some of these other people do. I focus on Clemson and who we are as a team, who we are as a program, and I think that we can match up with anybody.
Did you see the Texans play that Deshaun and Nuke and Duke Johnson?
I did, man. I got it in. Put it in. Put it in. We're going to open up with that. First time in the red zone.
Well, you just.
It was a great play, wasn't it? That was a great play. Deshaun diving. He likes the right side of the end zone. I don't know what it is. He's always like over on the right side, whether he's hurdling a guy or diving a guy. It always happens on that side. But what a great play that was. It was super cool.
Coach, do you like the fact that a player like Avon says it's ridiculous, crazy that you guys are ranked third, and they kind of use this as motivation, take the slightest, perception slight against your program and using it as fuel?
Well, I think when you've won 27 in a row, you better have some fuel. Anytime you can get fuel, anytime you can get a little fill up, that's great. Top it off a little bit. I think the greatest motivation is self-motivation. If you gotta be artificially motivated to be great at something, you ain't ever gonna be great. The greatest motivation is self-motivation and pride in your performance and doing a great job at what you do and doing it over and over and having a standard that you believe in. That should be the greatest motivation. But when you're in competitive situations and you get a little fuel along the way, there ain't nothing wrong with that. That's good. These guys are. You're talking to a guy who's won a bunch of ball games. He's played in some big games. Virginia, I didn't offer him, I don't think. Not sure why, but, I'm sure that's a motivating factor for him going into a game like this. So I think all competitors are, Tom Brady's 42 years old. I'm sure he's self-motivated, but I'm sure he takes every little nugget he can get. I think that's just part of competition, but, there's no greater motivation than self-motivation.
Based on what you said about the league, do you have an opinion on why the perception isn't better nationally about the ACC?
It's the media. It's what drives everything. It's what drives every perception. That's what gets put out there. And that doesn't mean there's bad people out there. It's not chastising anybody, But I just think other programs get the benefit of the doubt from time to time. And for whatever reason, our league, certainly Clemson, we don't really get the benefit of the doubt. If there was another team out there that was coming off a 15-0 season and had beaten a team by 4 touchdowns, beaten Alabama by 4 touchdowns, and I think people would focus more. People should focus more on who we are, and not who we so-called play. And I think other teams would get a little different benefit of the doubt. And I could understand it for that if we were a new kid on the block. But we've been around here a long time. We've had 9 straight 10-plus win seasons. We're the second winningest team in the decade, or us in Alabama. And we've played everybody. And every year we play the same schedule. We played the same schedule this year we played last year. I think we swapped North Carolina for Duke. Play the same schedule. Play Texas A&M, play South Carolina. We just play. All we can do is play who we play. I think the biggest thing is just sometimes people create storylines in the off season, and then sometimes it don't add up. And, we weren't supposed to be very good on defense this year. Last year's team, we had a lot of those superstar guys, and we were portrayed differently. And the crazy thing is this team is playing way better than last year's team. It's really not even close. But yet you would think, based on the perception that's been created out there, because they still talk about a close game with North Carolina. I mean, it still gets talked about. Still talk about Trevor throwing a few interceptions early in the season. They don't talk about all the touchdowns. Trevor's, if they thought he was good last year, he's so much better now than he was last year at any point. He is twice the quarterback right now than he was in the national championship game when everybody was crowning him the king of football. He's twice the quarterback right now today. And people have missed it because there's just been this rhetoric all year long. And so, again, it's not me chastising anybody at all. Everybody does their job. It's me. I just don't think our team has been portrayed properly, and I think people have missed out on a beautiful football team. James Skowski he's a beautiful football player. Oh, my goodness. Travis Etienne, what a year he's had. It's incredible. It's incredible. And, again, we've dominated 11 out of 12 games. Some people say, we only were good since North Carolina. No, we've been great all year. We've dominated every single opponent. Texas A&M was the 12th ranked team in the country when they came in here. Nobody knows anything about that stuff. So how all of a sudden we beat them? Well, now they're not any good. It gets just driven by perception and media and conversation or rhetoric. Not everybody. There's been a lot of people out there that I think have recognized our team but I think for what T. Higgins has done, what this offensive line has done, again, it's not who we play, it's how you play. It's who we are and who we've been. And when people say, well, they just, there was conversation. I went on First Take and I'm asked a question. Like, there's debate. Like, we go undefeated, we shouldn't be in the playoff. That's the type of conversation. And then people get amnesia this time of year. Now, all of a sudden, last 2 or 3 weeks, everybody wants to say, Clemson's a great team. We're the same team we've been all year. We're the exact same team. It's just now, they have to recognize that. But it's really not any different than it's been all year. It's not any different at all. So all I can tell you is I don't know why, but I just think that sometimes we don't get the benefit of the doubt, and that's a shame. But a lot of people, it's not like, and as people said, I answered a guy's question the other day. He asked me a question about, does the game even matter nationally with it? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Yeah, it matters. We get beat, we're out. And that's not a shot at the committee. I don't even know who's on the committee. I have no idea. Don't know. Don't care. I think the committee's gotten it right every year. I think they've gotten it right every year. I think they do a great job. That's not one iota what I was talking about. Just talking about how our team, this team, has been portrayed all year so inaccurately. And the story, instead of who we are and how we play, the story's been about we played a close game, we don't play anybody, which is total disrespectful for other teams. We don't play anybody. And Trevor threw a couple interceptions. That's been the story all year long. Trevor Lawrence should be a Heisman finalist. He's unbelievable what he's done. It's incredible. It's incredible the year that Trevor Lawrence has had. It's incredible what Etienne has done, what these wideouts have done, what this offensive line has done. They are better in every area as a football team than that team that went 15-0 last year at this point. Now, will they finish? I don't know. We're good enough to compete for our league, so we're going to get a shot to do that. You got to take the steps, but I just think that, again, I think a lot of people have missed some beautiful football with this team. What this back seven has done, unbelievable. And so, again, people focused on who left instead of who was here. And it's the best back seven I've coached, incredibly disciplined. They don't give up big plays. They play smart. They're committed. They're detailed. They're passionate about preparing every week. Every week. It doesn't matter who we play. It doesn't matter what we're supposed to win. These guys come to work as if we're playing the national championship every single week, and that is not an easy mindset to have. And instead of that being focused on, again, how we've played, I think we've had 7 wins of 30-plus points or something like that in a row. And who we are, people create other storylines to try to diminish what's been accomplished. And that's what my passion is. Our program, my passion is these players, and from time to time, I think as a leader, you got to speak up. Simple as that, and not let other people diminish what's been accomplished, because that's been the objective from some people, to try to diminish what's been accomplished. And even in the off season. Let's create excuses why something happened because it didn't go according to the narrative. So I just try to tell the truth the way I see it. That's how it is.
Do you believe a dominant team in a league, kind of like what Florida State was in the 90s, can eventually makes the other teams in the league better?
Oh, there's no question.
Belief?
No doubt. You got to get better. Yeah, no question.
Dabo, Finebaum went off on you pretty strongly this morning.
I've been in meetings. I missed it. Sure, it was riveting.
Do you enjoy bringing his bell a little bit, considering his position nationally?
His bell specifically? No. Listen, I like Paul. Paul's great at what he does. I'm not going to dislike somebody because he's great at his job. A lot of people don't like me because I'm good at my job or because I wear this logo. They don't know me as a person. They just don't like me because, I'm passionate about doing a good job. And, he's a guy that does it. He works for the SEC. Let's get Eric McClain and put him on them shows every day. That's what he does. That's his job. I would never be upset at a person because he does a great job. Paul Finebaum is great at what he does. What does he do? He which way do we need it to go? Well, no, back that way. And he's great at that. That's what he does. And he creates great conversation and great drama. So I would never be upset if somebody does an awesome job at what they do. Again, he's kind of said it before. We're the Red Sox. He's the Yankees. You're not going to have the Yankees guys stand up and talk great things about the Red Sox. That's not what he's paid to do. So I think he does a wonderful job. But at the end of the day, listen, I don't know what he said, don't really care, but I learned one of the best lessons I've learned is that you don't worry about criticism from people that you wouldn't seek advice from. So I get a lot of criticism. If it's somebody that I'd go sit down and seek some advice from, then I might listen to that.
He said you need a pacifier and need to be taking a timeout.
They do what now?
He said you need a pacifier and need to be taking a timeout.
Hey, there you go. See there? Great conversation. I'd like some timeout. I'd like to take a nap. Y'all remember first grade? I love that. Mrs. Puckett. I had Mrs. Puckett in the first grade. And we had to take a mat. Valley Elementary. You remember you had to take a mat? You'd walk into school with your lunchbox, had the Happy Days lunchbox, and had with my bologna sandwich and had a mat. And you'd put it in there, and then there would come that time during the day when they'd say, all right, it's time out, nap time, and nobody wanted to take a nap. You're sitting there, so you're making faces at your buddy and flipping crayons or whatever. And well, don't y'all think we should have adult timeout time? Let's just all bring a mat, take a nap, and be good. So I never had a pacifier though, so I don't know how that'd work out. I know. I just need that's for the players though.
Do you prefer that people saying negative things on the outside? Would it be weird if it was just nothing but positive?
No, we've had lots of positive. I think last year was so much positive. Again, but we had all these superstars, and everybody was focused on Christian and Dexter and this and that, and there's been lots of positivity. There's tons of positivity about our program. There's no question about that, but I just think that this particular team has been portrayed poorly all year long. Poorly, really poorly. And now you got a lot of people doing the Michael Jackson, and they're moonwalking. They're backtracking. They're getting amnesia. But I don't get amnesia.
I guess what I'm saying is, does it make your job easier?
Oh, it makes my job simple. It just, again, motivation is a part of anything. And when you got a team that's won a bunch of games, we're 10-1 versus the SEC, by the way. And aren't they the best team in the world? The best conference in the world? We're 10-1. 6-1 versus the West. That don't get written, though. That's like, shove. That don't fit. That doesn't fit. Put that under here. That's Trevor threw an interception. Let's throw that. Let's put that on a loop. So this team has not been portrayed properly by a lot of people. There are some good people out there, but from time to time. But I think we've had tons of positivity. I think last year's team was portrayed great, and people were really respected. They didn't really focus on who we played. We played the same people. They focused on how we played, and they focused on the people that were playing. And this year's team, that's been the exact opposite. I'm not sure anybody knows who Tanner Muse is. Do you know how good a year Tanner Muse has had? Unbelievable, the year that Tanner Muse has had, and the year that Kayvon Wallace has had, and Nolan and Denzel and A.J. Terrell. If there's a better corner in America than A.J. Terrell, I'd like to know who he is. But who's talking about A.J. Terrell? Clemson didn't play nobody. What a total lack of respect for how hard it is to win.
I think that lack of portrayal that you're speaking of has had a direct effect in the folks in the award committees and folks like that.
I don't think there's any doubt, because they don't pay attention. They just get fed stuff, and people just believe it, just get fed stuff. They don't watch the tape. If you watch the tape, if there's a running back award and Travis, listen, great backs, and I mean about winning it. If there's a running back award and Travis Etienne isn't a finalist for it, they shouldn't have the award. Watch the tape. Take all the great backs and sit down and really watch the tape. And you tell me that guy shouldn't be a finalist for the award? Give me a break. It's a joke. It's just kind of the way it is.
Early in the season, the message from the team was about shutting out that outside noise, but now that you're at the end of the season, the team's starting to respond to it a little bit. What does that balancing act look like of allowing the team to respond and be upset by this, but also trying to keep it outside? It's
no different than it's been. It's just we've all kept our mouth shut. I just felt like after 12-0, when a guy asked me a question, it was time for me to recognize what this team has done. And so you continue to block. It has nothing to do. I'm just answering y'all's question. That's what they paid me to come in here and do. So it ain't got to do with our team. This is no different than any other. They've been dealing with this all year long. They just laugh at it. We know who we are. We know who we are. All right? And, these guys, they're not out on social media. They're not doing that. We just go to work. We'll have a good Tanoga Tuesday today. And we're going to have a good practice tomorrow, and we're going to have our butts ready to play Saturday night, just like we've been ready every week. And, again, that's our goal, find a way to win each and every week. This has been an incredibly focused team, great leadership, and it's no different than it's been all year. Zero. It's just now we're in the mix. And early part of the year was, shouldn't be there, even if they go undefeated. That was the storylines.
Quick football question. Braden Galloway, at what point do you take the scout team jersey off of him and start getting him?
We've started working him some already. We've started working him a little bit in the open date, and he'll be ready to go once we get past this game and get right into bowl prep. It's a very different bowl season this year. Obviously we're going to find out where we're going on Sunday, regardless of what happens in this game. But the schedule is very different. Because this game's a whole week later. So then we got finals next week. We're going to have to. We're going to have to start practice next Friday, regardless of what happens. And in the past we've given them like a week and a half off. But it's just a very different time frame this year. And again, regardless of what we're going to be either in the playoff or going to be in a great bowl. So regardless of where we are, the time frame is very different. So we've already started working him a little bit, and then we'll obviously, when we do get into bowl prep, we'll be full speed ahead. So it's going to be a big shot in arm for us.
Yeah, I was going to say, how much do you think he can help you?
Well, we'll see. You know, I mean, we just kind of got to see where he is. I mean, he hasn't. I mean, he's because you can't sit there and rep a guy in game week who's not going to play. So he's been the scout team guy all year. So physically and athletically and all that, he's sharp and in shape, and it's not like he's been sitting on a shelf. But he hasn't been executing, you know, within our system and things like that, and so timing and stuff. So we'll just have to see where he is. But he's a great player. I know he was a freshman last year and, you know, had a moment here or there, but he's going to be an outstanding tight end for us, and a guy I'm really proud of, just how he's handled himself, his attitude, how he's come to work every day, knowing he can't play, how he's just approached it, power hour, all those things. I'm proud of Braden.
Coach Potter made the 46-yard field goal. We missed the 32-yarder on Saturday. I'm guessing you just let him work through that. It's not going to be like before with Sawicki.
Hey, he's 3 out of 4. You know, if he can keep going 3 out of 4, we're going to be in good shape. You know, that's how I look at it. We're kind of going every 4, you know, and he went 3 out of 4. He's for whatever reason, he's got a little kryptonite over on that short right hash. You know, we just keep working that. But again, we'll start a new 4, and let's see what he is. You know, so 3 out of 4 is pretty consistent.
Dabo, I know you said there's been some positive talk of the program. Is there anything in particular that's bothered you, or that you feel like any group or any people that are? Nobody personally I would chastise at all. I just think just the general portrayal of this team and what I really don't care what people say about me or what people say about you know, any of that other stuff. It's you know. This has nothing to do with another team or anything like that. There's other, you know, I focus on Clemson. There's plenty of great teams out there. It's just, I think that what's been achieved by this group of young people should be recognized. And it's a shame that a lot of people have missed it outside of our folks here. I mean, it's incredible what they've done. It's historic. I mean, it's historic. And you know, just a beautiful group of young people, and this is a special football team, no doubt about it. It's a special football team, as good as I've ever coached, and you know, last year was the best ever, and this team's ahead of that. I coached both teams. I got a pretty good perspective, and I just think a lot of people have missed it. You know, last year they didn't. You know, but what's been accomplished with this group is, again, what this defense has done is unbelievable. The job Brent's done, the job Tony and Jeff have done, it's just incredible. T. Higgins, back-to-back 10 touchdown season, never happened ever. Travis Etienne, the all-time touchdown leader, and he's basically done it in 2.5 years. It's incredible. It really is. And then Trevor Lawrence, he's off the charts as far as how he's playing the quarterback position. And then what that offensive line has done, Tremaine Ankrum, Cervinka and Simpson and Pollard and Big Jack, those guys have been awesome. A guy like Linjay, DK, what about DK? I mean, this guy has had a, you know, all-conference, all-American type of season. And it's not much talk about him. You know, again, I think if people focused more on how we play and who our people are, but I just think there were so many no-names this year. You know, it was an easier story to say our league stinks and, you know, whatever. We don't play nobody. And that's hard. And that's been the rhetoric. And, again, that just tries to diminish what's been accomplished. And if it was easy to be undefeated, you know, there's plenty of bad leagues. How come there ain't a bunch of undefeated teams? It's hard to win. It's hard to win. And again, how about a little benefit of the doubt for our program? 9, 10-plus win seasons.
I mean, who we need to play? We've beaten Ohio State twice. We've beaten Oklahoma twice. We've beaten LSU. We're 10-1 versus the SEC. We've beaten Alabama, who's been the best, unquestioned the best. And we've beaten them 2 out of 3 national championship games. I think our program should get a little bit of benefit of the doubt. Quit worrying about our league.
What's the value in general of having people outside of the program go on TV and talk about the team and write about the team?
That's what people watch. That's what people watch, you know. And you see a lot of leagues get propped up. They get propped up. But we're still here. We're still here. We ain't going nowhere. We're going nowhere.
Now, when you talk about the history, obviously the team has a chance to do it again this week in 5 straight conference championships. Never been done before. Do you still have to talk to your team about not taking moments like this for granted, or are they pretty well versed in that by now?
We don't take a day for granted. You know, we're incredibly intentional about today. There's no hope for a better yesterday, right? So you better just be great today. And that's what we're intentional about. Just having a great day today. There's as I always say, greatness and championships never go on sale. You don't ever get them at half price. You got to pay full price every week, every time. So there's a humility that has to come in starting over every week and having a respect for what it takes to get ready and being detailed. And that's what we've been able to capture better than anything we do is that ability to have respect for the process, to understand that you're not entitled to win. You got to earn it every single week. Every week you have to earn it. And, that's just our culture. We respect every opponent. We got to earn it. But that's why we're really talented. So when you put great talent plus character plus integrity plus work ethic plus knowledge, you get great results. And that's what we've done. There's a lot of teams out there with great talent. But it takes all those things, character, knowledge, humility, intentionality, discipline, respect for the process. It takes those things. And again, this team's won 27 games in a row. Nobody even talks about it. And this team wasn't supposed to be great. We were supposed to struggle. We knew we'd be great on offense. And the story is what this defense has done. I mean, holy cow. It's incredible. It is absolutely incredible what this group has done. And a lot of people missed it.
Do you think that that's at least resonating with recruits, though, when you look at your 2020 class? You've got guys from all over the country.
What resonates with recruits is our program. That's what, none of the rest of that stuff matters. I mean, because when they get here, they know who we are. They know what's real. There's a lot of people that say a whole lot of stuff, but then it's either real or it's not. And our recruiting speaks for itself. Kids, because we graduate our players, we equip them with the tools to dominate in life. They have a good experience, and we win. And we do it the right way.
That will conclude today. Thank you, everybody.
All right. See y'all in Charlotte.